Also, I Love Dawson's Creek did a tag, and I wanted to do the tag. It's questions about your Disney movies, favorite Disney's, its favorites. And so it's 11, I see 11 questions here. So the first question was, what is your favorite Disney movie? For me, it's Pocahontas, because my father brought me up to appreciate our Native American roots from Puerto Rico, the Taino Indians or the Tainos. Not much is known about them because they were pretty much killed off when the island was taken over by the Spaniards. They were treated so badly that most of them died off, and then they brought in the African slaves. So if there are any left, there's not much known about the culture of the Taino Indians. So I really appreciate that. So Pocahontas, being a Native American, that's my favorite Disney movie. My favorite Disney princess, I would have to say Rapunzel from Tangled. She's just adorable. Just the way that they made her face and her eyes and her expression and the way she acts, she's just so adorable. So I'd have to say that she's my favorite. My least favorite Disney movie, I wasn't sure which one to pick because there was two that came to mind, but I'll say the first one that came up to mind was Fantasia. Fantasia, it came out during a time where they were just being it was just a little bit too adult. It had demons in it, they had nudity in it, it had, I guess they would call it magic, but at that time there was more of an awareness of they were breaking away from religion and moving into other things, and at that time it was a more prominent, Satanism was coming to light, and so I'm not sure what was going on, but that was kind of freaky deaky, some of the images that were in Fantasia. I really didn't like that. My least favorite princess, I think her name is Tiara or Tiana. I can't remember her name, but this was like my second, probably least favorite, like out of the Disney princess movies, because I don't know, it didn't do much for me. It was kind of spooky, with, they were in New Orleans, you had that voodoo guy, and I don't know, she just really didn't do much for me. So I like the prince. I love that they made the prince, I don't know if the word would be obscure, he was kind of an enigma, or you just didn't know where he was really from. The land that he came from, was in Moldovia or Moldonia, whatever, it doesn't really exist, and he was not exactly African American. He was not, he was like they made his skin, I was reading about it, tanned. They didn't want you to really know what he was. It was just really weird. I was reading about that one. So I thought that was cool, but the princess just, I don't know, really just didn't do much for me in this one. I don't know. The Princess and the Frog. Have you been to Disney World? Yes, I went to Disney World. I think I was it 11 or 13? I think I was 13 at the time, and it was awesome. And I went again with my husband when my son was 3. It was just, both times, it really truly is magical. They call it the Magic Kingdom, and it really is magical. My favorite Disney prince, let's see. The first one that came to mind was Aladdin. I don't know what it was about him. Maybe he went from rags to riches. I don't know. Aladdin was my favorite. The adventurous nature that he had, and setting, just his heart was just in the right place. They gave more depth to Aladdin's character. They had also done that with Eric for Ariel, but I don't know, just something about Aladdin's innocence. I don't know that, and going from rags to riches. I think that's what made Aladdin my favorite. My favorite Disney villain. I never liked any of the villains, obviously, but if we're allowed to pick Once Upon a Time as a Disney, which it is, I would have to say Regina, because Regina is a tortured soul. Regina isn't purely evil. Regina had goodness in her heart. It's, you know, I believe between her mother and Rumpelstiltskin is what corrupted her. And I think that when Snow White, when she found out that Snow White told her mother about her lover, I think Daniel, she just snapped. So, and you know, and Regina does have love in her heart. She loves Henry. And if you saw season 3, if you didn't see season 3, put your fingers in your ears and make noise. But if you saw season 3, she was the hero, or the heroine of season 3 practically. And you saw her transition. She was like doing her best to be good, but she still had that attitude and was ready to do what she had to do no matter what. And by the end, she was the true hero until it got all messed up. We'll see what happens in season 4. But that would have to be it, Regina. My favorite Disney song. Oh my goodness, Mulan. It makes me cry. It's called Be a Man. But it, you know, he's talking to a bunch of misfits, men who pretty much amounted to nothing. And yet the song transitions into them. I know it's silly, but it makes me cry how it transitions from being nothing to being men. And that just really spoke to me. That's why I don't know why I'm an emotional person. So, sorry. But that song speaks to me. The last Disney movie I saw was Frozen. And the funny thing is, though, I saw it from the back of my head. My son and my daughter really wanted to see it. And usually, if I'm semi-interested in a movie, I will watch it from the back of my head. I will be on the computer with my back to the TV, but I'll be listening to everything. And, like, my family says this is crazy, but I know what's going on because I'm listening to everything, and what I'm not really listening to, it's somehow flowing into my subconscious. And so the last one I saw was Frozen. I have to say, if there was least favorite song, I would have to say it was Let It Go. I'm like so sick of it. I never thought it was all that. And so maybe that's what kind of turned me off to like really paying attention. I know it was funny, and that's what made me interested in it. So I have to see it again. I was watching it from the back of my head, but the funniest part of that whole movie is Olaf. My son was hysterical laughing when he says that he has no skull and no bones, and if you see the expression on his face, it was just so hilarious. He was hysterical laughing for like 20 minutes. So that was the last movie I saw. I would watch it and then go to the computer and then watch and go to the computer because my TV is now on the wall now. That was the last one. My first Disney movie I saw in theaters, I think it was Cinderella. My mom took my brother and my sister when I was a teenager, and I went to go see some rated R movie. And it was horrible, and I ran to the other theater and hid under the seats because, of course, the ushers were looking for me. I just ran into that theater so I could watch Cinderella with them. So that was the first Disney movie I ever saw in theaters that I remember. The last question is, who would be my best friend? I guess if I had to pick one, it probably would be Rapunzel, because she is so cute and adorable and artistic and creative, and she, you know, did so many things to have fun being stuck in the house. And since, you know, I don't go out much, you know, like I used to when I was younger, who would probably be my best friend if I had a Disney best friend. The other person that came to mind, which is purely selfish, would be Cinderella, because she would clean my house all the time for me. So that she came to mind. She was my best friend. She could come and clean my house for me and wouldn't even care, because that's what she does. She cleans, you know. So yeah, so that was the Disney tag.